Cubs fans, and welcome to a brand new edition of Cubs on Tap. I am Ron Luce, joined this evening by two beauties, Mr. Nick Hudson and Mr. Tyler Edmonds. Gentlemen, normally I would start the show asking you guys how are you doing outside of baseball, but I don't think we can do that tonight. So therefore, I'm just going to jump in and ask you, how are you feeling amidst the news that literally just broke 35 minutes before we started the show tonight? We were already pre-planned to be running anyway, so at least they gave us something to bitch about on the microphone. But Kyle Tucker and the Chicago Cubs are $2.5 million apart on ARB numbers. So naturally, unless they settle ahead of time, they're going to go to arbitration. Nick, thoughts, feelings, opinions, what's going through your
I feel
mind?
horrible that my favorite baseball team wants to crush my hopes and dreams and act like a small market, puny team. So yeah, I'm feeling awful tonight. Very upset.
I feel that. Tyler?
Fuck. I mean, like, I appreciate you at the very beginning, calling me a wonderful looking gent and everything like that, but it doesn't help. Like, I texted, I said, you know what? This sucks, but at least it couldn't have been any better timing, right? Just when we're about to start, just when I was so excited to start this episode. First one of the year, first one since like the beginning of December for me. I've got this new little table that gets me closer to the wall. I got this cool little light right here that you guys can't see, but I'm so excited about it. And, I was ready to talk about, I was already prepared to vent about certain things. But it's like, you get this nice Christmas present before Christmas. And then Dad comes in on January and says, hey, guess what? You remember that gift I got you? We may have to take it back here pretty soon because Dad's not going to be able to afford it, even though, you're living in this nice ass house and all this kind of stuff. But God, like, and it's just before CubsCon too. Like how much, like, and it's $2.5 million.
Yeah.
I'm kicked in the nuts, but I'm still up to bitch about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think we're all up to bitch about it. And our comment section is just as lively. Scott here chiming in says he feels like it's been 6 months since he's heard from either Tyler or Nick. Yeah, it's probably been about 4 hours for me. I'm on the microphone way too goddamn much, Scott. I know you listen to pretty much all of our shows, which we appreciate.
I changed my outfit.
You did change your outfit.
Cubs sweatshirt earlier, a white one with my nice new Cubs hat I got with you guys at the end of last season, and I put on my black because it's like he's doing everything he can to try to turn this into a funeral. Like, are you trying to kill the vibe in the room before the party even starts this year?
That's a great analogy. We've got some F Tom and Jed already. Some yo's. Scott with a good point here. Hopefully they don't pull the Brewers, talk mad shit about him like they did to Burns. And then Rob with a classic LOL. I think that's a very good way to sum things up. And gentlemen, it's frustrating because, to your point, right? It's the new shiny toy, right? This is the guy that the Cubs hyped up we went out and got him. We went out and got Kyle Tucker this offseason. Like, we went and took a big swing and got a player that's going to tangibly upgrade this team. And, they've made some other little shrewd moves. Obviously, the Matthew Boyd signing, a couple of, minor deals. They're still in the running right now for Roki Sasaki, which probably a couple days before CubsCon, we're going to learn where he signs, because he can sign as of January 15th with the new pool of international money. So that's probably when he will sign, is the 15th. Maybe that happens. But to your point, Tyler, this is horrible timing for Jed and Tom too, because you mentioned it. CubsCon is a week from tomorrow. Like, I'll be seeing both of you guys, Nick, you on Saturday, Tyler, you on Friday, in literally a week. You are about to parade your brand new player, Kyle Tucker, out to the fan base. But you can't come to a fucking agreement over $2.5 million for a guy who's probably worth at least $30 million a year.
Oh, yeah.
If Shohei is on another planet. Yeah, I get it. He got, I believe it was 31 million in arbitration. Vladdy Guerrero, who a lot of people are talking about, is the next offseason. You've got Vladdy and Tucker as Kyle Tucker as your two big free agent pieces on the market next offseason. And Vladdy, we've just got what, 28 million in arbitration?
28, yeah.
And you're telling me that you can't give Kyle Tucker, a guy that just 3 seasons ago, when Mike Trout was healthy and doing his thing, was being compared to Mike Trout. Mike Trout. Ever heard of him? I know you guys have. I'm just being sarcastic. But, like, you can't give that guy I'm surprised he didn't ask for more.
Oh, yeah. I was shocked when I saw
that number. That's a steal. And, Ron, you said it. Ron, you said it in the chat room before we started. That's cheaper than Cody Bellinger. Like, what's going on? What is going on? I mean, maybe there's a possibility. I know I just read something before we started. There's a possibility that they still could agree on something, but I don't care, because now it's got to the point where next offseason, if he finishes this season with the Cubs, let's not even, let's not forget about that. He could be traded, but no matter what now, no matter what you think, what we all thought the offer was going to be, no matter what his team thought their offer was even going to, maybe him and his agent was sitting down at dinner one night and just talking about, man, I can't wait till next year to ask these guys for $400 million. Now, especially when this season starts, and he's going to have a good season. Hell, I think he's in the top 5 for NL MVP. But now with the Cubs, that asking price just got higher. And when they go into the negotiations next offseason, they're going to say, oh, hey, Tom, hey, Jed, if Jed's still there. You remember when you didn't think that my client was worth the $2.5 extra million that he asked for? Well, it's a little more now. It's actually a lot more now. And I know these other teams are offering this, but for you guys, you're going to have to add an extra fill in the blank. This is just another reminder that this ownership, and Jed Hoyer's in this car too. He's in this car too a little bit. And Carter Hawkins, you're in that car too, buddy. I know you're going to be on the stage. You're going to be on the stage next weekend, like just being Jed's little puppet and blah, 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 and about God knows what. But it's just a reminder that this ownership and this group is just a bunch of cheap billionaires. Billionaires. We were joking earlier about the Brewers and $750,000 and how they flopped with that on William Contreras. This is like that with the Cubs. Like $750,000 to the Brewers is like a $2.5 million to the Cubs.
For sure. 100%.
But don't worry, the Busch Lights and all the other beers are still going to be $23 next season. So there's that.
They sure are. Nick,
I'll let you guys talk. It just,
No, and it's a fair feeling to have. Like, yeah. I was scrolling through X before this show, kind of getting the pulse of the fan base. And it's a very unanimous feeling. It's, what the hell is this? Why is this happening for a guy who, again, it's not like Kyle Tucker was just brought in for a bag of baseballs, right?
No,
you gave up a top 10 draft pick or a prospect, plus a young high upside pitcher like Hayden Wesneski, plus a guy like Isaac Paredes, who, sure, maybe he didn't fit with what the Cubs wanted to do, but I think he's going to look really good in Houston colors, and he's going to love that short porch with the Crawford boxes.
Yeah, you gave up the one guy. Gave up sorry to interrupt you. You gave up the one guy that, had he been on this team this year, he would have been the lock at third base for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And it just doesn't. It's one of these like make it make sense things. And Nick, because I want to ask you, Nick, because I want to ask both of you guys this question. Do you believe that this was already the nail in the coffin with Kyle Tucker and the Cubs for any possibility of an extension? Do you think they have done enough, that this is enough bad business to already taint? Because supposedly they've already had contract extension discussions, right? That's the rumor. Yeah. That's the report that's out there. Do you think this kills that?
It doesn't. It certainly doesn't help. I think it leaves a bad taste in your mouth for certain. Um, a lot goes into a guy deciding that he's going to choose a team. A lot of that has to do with good baseball and a good product on the field and winning. What a lot of people forget is that these guys, yeah, they're in for the money, but they want to win as well. And if you have an organization that is just trying these small market tactics where they have these projects that they want to refurbish, and it's not a winning mentality. So this is just an example, just a microcosm of what the Cubs do as an organization. And it's just disgusting to me, honestly. So no, I mean, I don't think it's over, but I don't think that this helps. And I think that for sure, I mean, you definitely have now left a bad taste in your mouth if you're Kyle Tucker, for sure, with the Cubs.
100%, 100%. And a lot of really good comments here too, Tyler, before I turn the microphone back over to you here as well, because Joey, who unable to join us this evening under the weather, says, guys, I really don't get the logic of the Cubs haggling over $2.5 million over a guy who's easily getting 40 plus million on the open market if he's out there today. Completely agree with that. Fire Jed the Hoyer. I think it's the Hoyer, but we have never paid a player $200 million. Damn sure ain't paying $400 million. Tom and Jed act like that the fans owe them and not vice versa. Sorry, guys, I'm pissed off, but not surprised. And I think that's pretty much where everybody is kind of settling right now. And following that up, he says 100% it kills if they sign Tucker to an extension. And he says, Tyler, I'll buy you a Tucker jersey.
Beers, man. I'll buy you. We'll do the show to you, Monaga together. We'll do a Kyle Tucker together, and beers on me. But
got to get one out because you might only get them for one season now at this point. Tyler, do you think it kills their chances?
In the same boat with I'm pissed but not surprised. I think this is about, I would say 85%, unless they just shock the shit out of us with some type. They just played us all along and shocked the shit out of us tomorrow with some big ass extension, which isn't going to happen. But
could you imagine if it did, though?
Oh, yeah. And then I would just take back everything I said. But it's like what you said, Nick. This is just to say it's not surprising with these types of moves. When they got him in December, and then there was this stretch of just nothing. Yeah, you had these little small moves here and there. I said it then. It's almost like they were telling this fan base, Hey, see, we did this move earlier in December. We got Kyle Tucker. Now shut up and leave us alone. Stop trying to tell us we're not spending, even though you didn't spend any money on Kyle Tucker. But stop pestering us. Stop bothering us because we made this move. See, we're doing something. And also we're bringing back Sammy Sosa. So don't yell, don't get mad at us at CubsCon, because I know you're mad about Kyle Tucker. But hey, guess what? To get your mind off that, bam, here's Sammy Sosa. Like it's all connected. I feel like, but God, yeah, I'm just not confident. I have no confidence in the world that a deal is going to be done to bring him back, because I'm just saying all 29 other teams see this. They do.
Yeah.
And it's like one of our, Justin Steele said it on another podcast. He was talking about the Setup Man, by the way. I know, Ron, you shouted him out. Great show. Check him out.
Awesome show. Fun fact, spoke to Setup Man today. Will be a guest on our show at some point.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. But he even talked about it. Like when guys come into new organizations, they talk to those guys about how those organizations operate. They do. So they're all talking, and I get it. Yeah. Oh, everybody wants, at least with the Cubs, like we all want our guys to be on our team forever, but then they talk and see how everybody else operates and does their business. And this just isn't good business, in my opinion. I've never been an owner or ran a baseball team, but just being an dumb outsider looking in, this is just dumb business. And to be honest, it wouldn't even shock me if now Tom Ricketts' little presentation he's supposedly having on, I believe it was, whether it's Friday or Saturday, would not shock me at all if he pulled what he did last season and didn't even show up.
Yeah.
I think because the snow or something.
I think they have to know that like there's going to be backlash from this. Couple really good comments here as well. Hank a little bit earlier saying, been saying it for years. Cubs do not want to go over the multiple luxury tax caps. So many delusional Cubs fans argued with them, but about final time that they're realizing the sad reality. And I think it's something that unfortunately a lot of us I think have maybe realized sooner than others. But that's just the case. Jeff's here saying billionaire Tom's vision for the Cubs, premium prices, but thrift store baseball.
Exactly.
That's actually really funny. I that's getting a little sticky star because that one's funny. And Fire Jet Hoyer in relation to the setup, man, got to say he got to meet him in LA last year. And then that's what Hank says. Yeah, that's why Sammy is back. Exactly. Look at the shiny toy while we pinch those pennies real tight. And I'll tell you what. Morris Bankston, for anybody that is not familiar with him here at Cubs on Tap or in our fan base, Morris Bankston is one of our Bulls contributors here at On Tap Sportsnet. Huge Cubs fan as well. So big shout out to our friend, Mr. Morris. Wrote an incredible article the other day in relation to the Chicago Bulls, but it applies to the Cubs, so bear with me. It was talking about the nuance of nostalgia. Because the Chicago Bulls are now parading around Derrick Rose, right? He got honored Derrick Rose Day on the 4th. It was cool. It was awesome. He deserves it. He's a great player. He's getting his jersey hung in the rafters, but that's next season. Then you could put him in the Ring of Honor. That's another year they can punt down the nostalgia of Derrick Rose. Do you see where I'm going with this? The Chicago Blackhawks, for example. Oh, Jeremy Roenick. Here, Chris Chelios, we're going to retire your number. Marion Hoster, we're going to retire your number.
Didn't somebody with On Tap post an article at the end of December about how 2024 was the worst year?
Pat Comiskey.
With Chicago ownership.
An incredible write-up. These are two great articles on tapsportsnet.com. That was from Pat Comiskey. Incredible. It's a long one, so you need to sit down and really take time. It's like a 4,000-word article, but incredible. It talks about every team in the city. Go read it. But it's true. Every team in this city is operating off the nostalgia of things that happened 10 plus years ago. Nobody wants to pay money for these teams to be competitive because they know Chicago sports fans are going to show up because they're the best in the world. Yeah, because we're fucking stupid. We live in the Midwest. It's cold as shit outside. I can't do anything besides think about goddamn sports every day. So yeah, parade through my living room, Derrick Rose and fucking Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane, and make me feel something, goddammit. No, go spend money.
Ron. Just stop.
But it's true. Every Chicago sports team is a nostalgia circus right now in the city, and the Cubs are no fucking different. Because you have Sammy Sosa. Sammy's back. Sammy, he saved baseball in 1998. Great. I was 3 years old in 1998.
Damn,
no
man,
offense. I'm happy Sammy's back because I know what it means to a lot of Cubs fans that grew up watching Sammy. But right now, I don't give a shit. Because I'm more worried about the $2.5 million you're trying to penny pinch off of Kyle Tucker right now.
Well, to even rain on that parade, as far as you talking about Chicago sports and nostalgia, when they do flop on Kyle Tucker, guess what next year is?
Yeah, it's the 10-year anniversary.
The 10-year anniversary of the World Series. And they're going to shove that down
your throat and your throat
and
my throat.
We talked about that last year.
Comments throats.
It's happening. It's
unbelievable, dude. It's unbelievable.
Right. Those big books we got last year, I've got it sitting right. I can see it right there. That big Fly the W book they passed out last year. They're going to be passing out those. We're going to get the cool World Series bobbleheads and here you go. You know, we don't have a good team this year, but take a ball cap, Nick. And Ron, take this cool Cubs World Series plastic ass necklace that we'll sell in our store later for $45. But here you can have it.
Yeah. But it's you know what?
Right. You're so right.
At the end of the day, it's tragic.
Yeah.
It's tragic that the third largest media market in the country, who, mind you, has one team in three of the four major sports. The only team that shares this city are the Cubs. And guess who dominates the city? The Cubs. It sure as fucking Jerry Reinsdorf's White Sox. I can promise you that. What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's like you know, I don't even know what to say anymore. I really don't. because I wake up every morning as a Chicago sports fan, as a Cubs fan, as a Bears fan, as kind of a Bulls fan, as a Blackhawks fan. And I walk to this wall that's right there, right here. And I sit there, and this is what I do every morning.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like.
Yep.
That's what it feels like. And I don't know what I just knocked over. There's things flying everywhere. But it's true. It's true. Where could you imagine, to your point, Tyler, had the Cubs turned around instead of even maybe going to arbitration, they said, guys, we did it.
Yeah.
We extended Kyle Tucker. Could you nobody's waking up on Sunday morning earlier than noon at CubsCon because everybody's drinking after Cubs bingo to celebrate.
Yeah.
But instead now, you've put Jed, yourself as Tom Ricketts, and everybody at CubsCon in an awkward position. And isn't Kyle Tucker going to be there?
I believe so, yeah.
So now he's got to sit up there knowing that him and the fucking Cubs are going to arbitration? Are you kidding me? It's literally like parading around a circus animal.
And the sad thing is something else. They're going to add something else as far as you're not going to be. They may take the microphones away to ask questions.
I bet you they 100% do.
They're only going to do the kids' questions on Saturday afternoon. That's the only questions we're taking. Nobody else.
I'm betting you right now they'll let the questions be open for everything except when Jed speaks.
Oh, yeah.
I would not be surprised. And I bet you, Tyler, I don't know if you recall this. Nick, you might recall this too. 2 years ago when we Cubs on Tap attended our first CubsCon together. Mm-hmm. Jed Hoyer's talk to everybody was at 8 a.m.
Yes. Yes. Saturday. I remember that. Yes.
Was the first session.
Very first thing.
You know why? That most of the fans weren't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's strategic. Sure. They don't want the backlash, but they're going to parade all the players around for you all weekend to get you excited about Cubs baseball.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they're going to charge out the ass for everything. And the crazy thing is there's I listen to a lot of different baseball podcasts, teams and everything. There's a Red Sox podcast, very popular one. Their Fan Fest, you get a baseball ticket.
That's cool.
You get a ticket to a game with your thing to go. I mean, stuff like that. And this here, they're going to charge you $150 out of your ass. And it's just for what now? I don't know.
Yeah. It really is. Nick, can we dress you up as a child on Saturday and like run you up there to ask why?
Let's do that.
$2,500. Like, can we? I know for just a week. Can we shave the goatee?
And then just
I don't know about that.
Like just walk up the whole time, like and just yes, I have a question. And then they say yes, you, and then like you just come out of your car.
Listen, literally,
you listen here, Tom. I've been tired of your shit for 4 years. I want answers.
I want answers
now.
You're
Batman.
I'm Batman. Seriously though, like, and that's like, I'm glad we're all able to laugh about this, but like, there is visible frustration amongst the fan base and amongst us. I think we're laughing so we don't cry. Like that's where
exactly
because now you wonder, like, at what point does Tom ever give enough of a shit for this team to spend anything? And I get it. You become a billionaire because you don't just spend money for like shits and giggles. But guess what, Tom? You claim to be a fan of this team before buying it. You claim to have lived right across from Wrigley and experienced the ambiance and blah, 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 blah. You know what? You know what happens when this team's really fucking good? You make a lot of money. I promise you, they would probably increase profits by maybe $100 million in a season, just if this team was good and won a World Series.
Oh yeah, and to counter all of it now, all they're going to do is they're going to shove guys like Matt Shaw down our throat and the future and the prospects. That's why they make all these cool little YouTube movies to get us all excited about all these prospects. They're going to do the same thing they've done the last 2 years. That's the only 2 times I've been to CubsCon. They're going to do the same 2 things and just shove all that down. Hey, but look at all these guys we got up and coming. You know, Matt Shaw could be the third baseman and get us 25 home runs and blah, blah, blah. And, you know,
prospect.
It's the same old, you're at the casino and they're hoping that, oh yeah, this is going to be the hot hand, the hot roll of the dice this year.
Exactly.
And maybe at the trade deadline we'll pick up somebody. And if not, we're going to trade, Kyle Tucker and whoever else.
Right. Yeah, if we're really bad, Kyle Tucker's not a Cub after July 31st.
Oh yeah.
And guys, like I think this comment from Fire Jed here like puts it in perspective. He goes, I'm going to see the Cubs for 4 different home openers. First off, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And for any baseball team, but especially when it's a team you like.
He is I want to say he's going to like maybe the first 20 some game. I may be wrong, and he'll correct me. But he may be going to like the first 20 some games. It's crazy.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible.
That's
but think about that. He's going to Tokyo, Arizona, Sacramento. Hilarious. Still can't get over that. And Chicago. And he's like, it makes me want to cancel flights because season tickets ain't cheap. 12K.
I'm glad you said. I'm glad you guys brought up Sacramento. Do you see what Sacramento's? It's weird saying. Do you see what the A's are doing? The A's paid their 30-year-old outfielder $60 million for 5 years. They gave Luis Severino however much it was. God, I don't know. But like, do you see what they're doing? They don't even have a stadium yet.
They don't
even have the nostalgia of a stadium yet. And they're paying
they lost the nostalgia because they're no longer playing in the Coliseum.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're spending money. They've spent more money. The A's, the A's have spent more money than the Chicago Cubs this off season.
Isn't that crazy? That's absolutely crazy.
The
and like
A's,
that's just here. You don't own a sports franchise as a hobby. Like it's a license that like you get into owning a sports team because you want to just go crazy. Like it's an excuse to do dumb shit. It's calculated gambling for billionaires. That's what it is. That's really what it is. And instead of playing on the roulette table, you're playing with real people. That's all it is.
Ever so often you get a guy like
23,
like Uncle Steve with the Mets.
Yeah,
that is a billionaire fan. You could say the same thing probably about I'm trying to think of other franchises. Mark Cuban with the Mavericks.
Mavs, yeah.
He's kind of like that. Ever so often you do, but the older I get, and you hear it when you're younger, but you don't want to believe it. But the older I get, the more you see just how much this is all a business. This is all like I feel like most of the owners, except for maybe the Dodgers, they all wake up and when they're working and their heads are like, well, you know what? There's 30 teams. Only one of us is going to win the World Series. So mathematically, it's not going to be us, but we can at least make a lot of money here. I mean, look at the Rockies. You know what
the crazy thing is though, is like, they don't really make that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like sports teams really make a lot of money when you play in a really big market. So the Yankees, Dodgers, the Cubs,
Chicago,
Boston is that way. Those are the only 4 franchises as of 2023, because 2024 metrics aren't available yet. As of 2023, those are the only 4 teams in baseball that earned over $500 million in revenue. Only 4. That's it. Wow. And like, you got to pay people, and obviously the players cost a lot of money, but you pay your staff and you pay, the people that work at the ballpark and all that shit. But like, that's why, what the greatest thing I think for baseball is? The fact that the Atlanta Braves, I believe, are now invested in by a venture capital firm. So they legally with the government have to disclose financials. Accountant brain in me loves that. I read through some of the Braves stuff when they did.
So basically what you're saying is they have to post everything they spend.
So we're going to really hard sidetrack here for a second and come back. The SEC, for example, public companies that people are able to invest their money in have to report financials to the greater population so they can make decisions based on the shares. You can't hide things. You can't lie about your financial standing and things like that.
Gotcha.
That's all federal offenses. Public companies do that with the SEC. Well, there's also other governing bodies that will affect for the same reasons, because a venture capital firm, which people can invest in their different funds and things, because they became a part of a fund, their little ownership equity piece. So they have to disclose for that equity piece, but they have to disclose the greater and what their share is. The Braves make $6 million every game. Every home game, they make $6 million. Wow. Now, granted, once you pay out expenses and things like that and players and stuff, it's probably they make about $3 million per game.
And 81 home games?
It's a lot of money.
Awesome.
Yep. And the Braves aren't as big as the Cubs. I bet you the Cubs probably make close to $10 million a game.
I don't want to. I want to know, but I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
I want to know.
I don't want to know.
Oh yeah.
No, I'll be more disgusted.
Because then maybe
let's just go full Step Brothers interview and just be like, how much money do you make before and after taxes?
Yeah.
Just do it. We'll get one. We will. Oh, Ron, we'll get kids. We'll try to find a couple kids at the convention. Give them a list of questions. Here you go, buddy. Ask these questions, and you know what? We'll get you a signed baseball by whoever you want.
We're gonna get you a signed baseball from somebody standing in line for 3 hours. Is what that means.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, at what point can we get answers as Cubs, especially as Cubs fans? This is one of the most sicko fan bases in all of baseball. Am I wrong, Nick? Would you agree that we're a bunch of sickos?
I would agree.
Tyler, you would agree we're a bunch of sickos.
Yeah, for sure.
Chicago sports fans, especially Cubs fans, are sickos. Everybody grew up rooting for a team that hadn't won something in a fucking century.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're sickos. We just want this team to be good because summers in Chicago, there's nothing better. And when the Cubs are good, they're even more incredible.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing better than summer in Chicago. I'm telling you right now, that would be the greatest thing that could happen to the Cubs because then it would put accountability on Tom Ricketts. Bro, go spend some money. You've seen what happens when this team wins. This city goes fucking nuts. I remember being in college, blacking out on a Friday night in November or in like mid-December and claiming, "Oh, I'm still celebrating the World Series."
Yeah,
that really happened. Like that's just the way this city is. $2.5 million for a star player, probably the best baseball player you've had since Chris Bryant was an MVP. And I would argue before that, you're probably looking closer to a Ramos and D. Lee and Soriano and maybe even further back than that to find a true, maybe Sammy Sosa, where you found a true superstar of the game. And
I would go. Right now. I would go. You got as far as superstars. I'd go Kyle Tucker, and then before that, Chris Bryant. And you could say whatever you want about his career now, but at the time, he was. 100%. And then before Chris Bryant, I would say Sammy Sosa. I mean, Derek Lee and Ramos Maris were both great. I don't know if I would put them up in. They'd be right on that tier with superstar and just right there. Definitely all-star, but players like Kyle Tucker don't come around often. They don't. And the opportunities you have him.
And you got him for nothing.
You got
the first
you have the girl
for nothing.
You had the girl on the date. You got her home, closed the deal. And they just dropped the ball. She went in to kiss and you just no. You know?
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Or you farted on the couch and it just made everything awkward. So she left.
And gentlemen, I don't mean to steer our conversation, but there are some other news topics and we got a great kind of segue, I think, into our next bitch fest here. And that is what the Cubs are doing otherwise. We saw Nate Pearson and Justin Steele settle with the Cubs before arbitration. First off, shout out to Steele. We're happy he's back. Naturally, we're going to try to get him on the show again as we do every year.
Sorry about Bama, Justin.
Don't be sorry about it.
Too soon, I guess. I'm sorry, man.
$6.55 million for Steele, $1.35 for Pearson. But really, outside of that, the Cubs have not done shit. That's the title of today's episode, the dog days of January, because nothing has happened in roughly the last month. They've made some small minor league signings and all that nonsense, but like that's about it. That is about it. And this is an incredible point that we'll have to come back to. Today's news: if Cam Smith becomes superstar,
why would you even bring that up, Darren?
Then you get pissed all over again. But David brings up a fair, interesting piece here. We talk about there's been no action. We were told the Cubs are going to be very involved in the bullpen market, were we not, in free agency?
Yeah, for sure.
Like David said, our bullpen is ranked in the bottom 5 of all of baseball. I don't know if they're that bad, but neither here nor there. He says, what, Jed spend on top pitching, getting top arms out of the pen. It says it looks more unlikely all the time. That's really what it is.
Yeah. It's the continuous, let's get project piece after project piece after project piece, because one of them's got to hit. One of them's got to hit, right? You know, I wrote an article, yesterday, that
Tanner Scott.
It would be, and to hear me out, as much as I would want a guy like Tanner Scott in this bullpen, I'm not saying I wouldn't want Tanner Scott, but with the way that this team operates, I feel like it would be a mistake to get Tanner Scott, because Tanner Scott, yes, he is a shutdown bullpen arm. Tanner Scott's going to ask for, he's going to want a bag, as he should. And don't they have just X amount of dollars to spend left before they are
before they become cheap shits and don't want to pay?
Exactly. And we know they're not going to go over that tax threshold. We know that. So if you get a guy like Tanner Scott, I'm not comparing him to Josh Hader, but relievers it's the most, what have you done for me today? Not lately. What have you done for me today? It's one of those things where one season, we talk about it all the time. One season can be great. The next season can be a shit show. It happens all the time. I'm not saying that's
hockey.
Like who?
It's like goalies in hockey.
Yeah.
Others podcasts.
And look at Josh Hader. Last season panned out for him. It was fine. But those first 15 games for Josh Hader was awful. Terrible. Yeah. And I can only imagine that happening here. And also, if you were to give that money to Tanner Scott, which, as we know, he's going to ask, supposedly I've heard somewhere maybe $20 million a year. That's it. That's your offseason, nothing else. And we all can sit here and say that there's more holes that need to be filled. I feel like there needs to be more than one bullpen arm coming back in. I think third base is still up in the air, because we can say what we want about Matt Shaw, but there's that possibility that he doesn't pan out. Who's playing third base? Who's catching ground balls over there? You could say that they need to add, I think they need to add another starting pitcher. So a guy like Tanner Scott, you do that, and that's it. And again, with today showing that they are cheapskates, nothing that we didn't already know, that's not going to happen as far as getting a guy like Tanner Scott. But it's project piece after project piece is all it is. And it's just,
it really is. It really is. Dubs with an incredible comment here. Jed's motto, but we can fix them. And Nick, I want to know, like, when does it happen, Nick? When does Jed do something knowing, like, does it happen in the next 2 weeks? Are we overblowing this, or like, is Jed fully prepared to get reamed a new asshole? Because again, now that we've pivoted from the Tucker hysteria, you've also not done anything to fix other places on the team.
Oh yeah.
Does Jed save his ass?
I don't know. I really don't know at this point. And the thing is what kind of pressure is he going to have on him at CubsCon? Like, is he going to feel that pressure from the fans? Probably not, because he's not going to be available. But there comes a time when he is going to have to do something to save his own ass, and not even think about the team at this point, but just to save his own ass. And this isn't it. If your big splash was Kyle Tucker and you didn't sign him to an extension,
you can't even get him signed in arbitration.
Yeah. Come on.
Let alone an extension. They can't even get his 2025 money locked down because
that should just be a given. That should just be a given. That's what I'm saying.
And there's options. There's still options out there for guys that prove themselves I don't want to say they proved themselves last season. They've had more than just one good season other than last year, but there's guys still on the market as far as bullpen arms that are still available that Jed could go out and get, a la Kirby Yates, a la
like Kirby
Kenley Jansen. Kenley Jansen wasn't bad last year. The guy's done it. I know you can say, oh, he's older, but he's been there, done that. I want to see, he won a ring. That's two guys right there. There's I can't think of anybody else right now. But I mean, there's options out there that I don't think. David Robertson. Robertson's 40 years old and he's still shoving it. He's been here before too.
Yeah.
Hoffman. There's options out there that's not gonna break the bank, and it's just Oh, but that's okay. We just traded for what's his name, Ron?
Oh,
Matt Festa.
Matt Festa.
We
Yeah.
got Matt Festa. And I know you're more keen on him than I am. I just saw the 5+ ERA and just, whatever. I know but it's stuff like that.
Yeah, it's stuff like that.
You
And
know?
like you said, we have so many more holes to fill. That's what's
Yeah.
infuriating to me. It's not like you're just one piece away and that's just what we're waiting on. We're waiting on so much more. He's done nothing.
Do you guys think that maybe Jed just throws Carter to the Wolves this next
No.
weekend?
No, I think you know what I
Or do you
think.
think? Or do you think Carter's just sitting back there like, yes, it's
I
all
think-
mine next year. It's
You know
all-
what I
keep doing what
think-
you're doing, Jed.
I think Jed has his methods, but I think Jed is more driven to do something good for this team than perhaps Ricketts is. Because again, remember, Tom's got to sign off on everything financially. Jed doesn't have full reign to just be stupid. If he did, I think a lot more things would happen. Because remind you, we were just talking about this. Yeah, more Matt Festa drives a Ford Fiesta. They don't need
Oh,
Fiestas.
no, I was just thinking of something with Gupscott. You're a
Oh.
Star Wars guy, right? You guys are Star Wars guys. Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yeah.
Princess Leia. After Han gets frozen in carbonite, and Luke comes to like try to save the day, and you've got Leia peeking through the thing. Luke, it's a trap! It's a trap! What if like Jed, when he's coming off stage, like just before he's like smiling and waving, just before he's about to go behind the curtain, it's a trap! It's a trap! They've got me handcuffed. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Also, don't mean to break the discussion of Star Wars, but Matt Festa, the exact type of reliever the Cubs like. By the way, he's like Tyson Miller light. He literally arm slots 28 degrees. Baseball savant nerd people understand all this. 4-seam fastball, cutter, sweeper. There it is. He doesn't throw very hard. 17th percentile in fastball velocity.
Of
But-
course.
But his average exit velocity, chase
Ron's
percentage,
getting the jersey. Ron's
barrel
about to order the
percentage,
jersey.
and hard hit percentage would all be very good in baseball. He just didn't qualify. He didn't throw enough. I'm not even saying it from a jersey perspective, Tyler. I don't have a Tyson Miller jersey. It's just Jed's got a type when it comes to the bullpen,
Oh,
and
yeah,
this
you're
is
right.
it.
You're exactly right.
Like he's got some guys that he's like, we got to have a guy like Pearson who does a couple of things really well, and we need to get somebody else that does this really well. A couple flamethrowers are cool. We like those. But watch this. We're gonna get the same guy just 4 times over because he throws funky and he's got a sick sweeper. Like it's Hayden Wesneski, Tyson Miller, like all over again. It really is.
I'm not wishing bad on the guy. We all sit here, we all hope he does. We all hope he does well.
Oh, yeah.
We do. Really do.
I
don't
hope
wanna
he's
make
a
it sound
magical
like we're-
gem that we
Yeah.
can like make jokes about like, Jed's got a type, but we can fix him, and they really did fix him.
And we forgot about just going on pitchers real quick. We forgot about we also got Matt Boyd for $30 million, so we got that sitting there too. So not that whatever, but anyways,
Not
Yeah.
to make us feel a certain way. They're going to go out and give Matt Boyd 30 mil, but they can't give Kyle Tucker 2.5.
and who knows? They may all shove and make the All-Star team this year, and then everybody
Maybe, yeah. And then we look like
you idiots, you idiots.
Yeah.
And I hope that's the case. I really do.
Another interesting note here, gentlemen, from Darren. Cubs aren't even making an effort to bring back Jorge Lopez, who is the only actual free agent the Cubs have. And it's kind of a shame because he was really good last year. He came up and was a monster. I don't think he probably would have costed more than maybe like 8.5 mil. He probably could have gotten one more year for like 8.5 mil. Totally doable for a guy that you already know and had success. And maybe he's your closer for, like Brandon says here, bargain bin fines. Like he was kind of a bargain bin fine because you got him after he got let go of a bad situation. And the Cubs took advantage of it. And he had a really good year. Why not bring him back? Like there's moves that, Chad, you can use to pay Kyle Tucker and get him under contract in 2025 and still go get guys. But like you got to start doing something. And gentlemen, that's kind of where I wanted to finally steer a conversation for tonight, because I know we could sit here and go on for the next 7 hours if we really wanted to. We're going to do that in literally a week and a half. And that's what I want to talk about. Just a little preference or a little pre-Cubs Con notion because we're gonna have. I think we're gonna have a show. I'm not gonna put anything in writing, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be back on these microphones at least one more time before the Cubs convention at the end of next week. But I want to start getting the excitement going because, gentlemen, I don't know about you guys. Like, I look as much as this team's trying to kill me, as tonight's show firmly put through, I'm still excited about the Cubs convention. And a large part of this because I get to actually see you guys in person, which we don't all get to hang out and see each other all the time.
Hey, my buddy Steve's coming. Steve's coming this time. It's his first one. It's his first one. So don't let him down.
Seriously. Right now they're letting them down. Right now the Cubs are letting them down.
Oh, yeah.
But with all that to look forward to, I just want to, I'm gonna ask you now because this, and then I'm gonna give you a week to think about it because I'm gonna ask you guys if you're back on the show again next week, and I'll ask everybody in the chat, so I'll have answers at least. What, as of now, are you most looking forward to at CubsCon? Is it a player? Is it an event? Just anything that like that's your number one.
And this is not counting like us seeing each other, right? Like hanging out.
No, because we know that's a given.
Because I'm gonna be
unless you can predict something stupid that's going to happen.
Oh. Well, you know who's
we all know what we're joking about.
We all know who else is he who has not been named yet.
He who has not been named. It was hold on. It was stated.
Joey.
It was stated a little bit earlier. Where is it? Where is it?
What?
Hold on.
Hashtag where's Joey?
Hashtag where's Joey? No, but in all seriousness, okay. Scott, one quick funny story here. Joey losing his car. I don't know if anybody remembers, and we have a lot of new listeners. Yes, we have a lot of new listeners. So people that might have only started listening to us in 2024. So to rerun this story, and if you heard it already, bear with us. But the first CubsCon, Joey was driving in, and it was like the weather wasn't great, but like he was like worried his car was going to fail on him because it was like it needed to get into the shop. And we were literally like joking with Joey. We're like, are you gonna do like side of the road reports when you get stuck in like the outside of Aurora or something on 88? And so Joey losing his car is evil.
And then I'm pretty sure he thought it was gonna get towed because he parked it in a lot that he wasn't sure.
Yes, and it ended up being
the correct one or something. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that too.
It
ended up being an actual the
very first time I met Joey. And we just hit it off that night. And I'm pretty sure that was the same night that
not about that.
Maybe it was the Saturday night that we all got pretty wild. And is that when we hung out with Cole and Cole came up and talked. Cole Reich talked to us a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that was the first one. Yeah. That was the first year. That was when Mancini signed.
Mancini. We all went nuts. Yeah, we were like, oh my gosh, Trey Mancini, what? Oh, shit. And
God.
1 month later.
Trey Mancini. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, because that was the CubsCon before the 2023 season. So our opening day right fielder was not Kyle Tucker, who it's going to be this year, hopefully, but rather it was Miles Mastrobodi, who got DFA'd today as a part of the Matt Festa trade.
Yeah. Right.
What a wild connection all the way around.
But you were asking, what's one thing we're looking forward to this?
Yeah. What is the one, like, I would say keep it more baseball focused because we went down memory lane and we'll have new stories to add for post CubsCon for everybody. But what are we thinking? What are you really like? Ooh, I want to know X, or I want to see so and so.
At the very least, I'm trying to look past the negativity, being pissed off, and all that kind of stuff, and I'm also trying to look past the bogus answers that we are going to hear, the answers that they're not really going to be answers. I'm trying to look past all that. At the very least, I want to see Tom Ricketts get up on stage and at least have the balls to introduce Sammy Sosa himself. They get up, shake hands, all that kind of stuff, and he announces that he is the one and only player in the Cubs Hall of Fame class this year. We're also retiring your number, Sammy, and all that. Like I at least expect. I'm looking forward to that. That better happen, and it wouldn't shock me if it happened because of just what's happened as of late, as in like the last hour.
Double down on the nostalgia to help us get there. No, and a fair point, because again, I think there's a lot of people that are genuinely excited to see Sammy. So I think that's a really good one. Nick, what are you looking forward to?
The feeling I get afterwards, that fire for Cubs baseball. It's just you get all pumped up.
Ooh, like at the end of Saturday night when we're all just kind of unwinding, watching the inevitable NFL playoff.
We're all singing "Go Cubs Go" at the very end because that's like the last song, isn't it? They play at the. Are we doing karaoke this year?
I will sing this year.
I bet Steve will.
It'll be incredible. It'll be incredible content for the Cubs on Tap page. Yeah. I'll get up there and sing Backstreet Boys at 10:30 p.m. on Saturday night.
That's some content right there.
I hope our buddies are there. The two guys, the two friends that meet every year around Cubs. I can't remember their names.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them. Really they weren't there last year. We didn't see them.
And then our other buddy that we gave him a T-shirt the first time, and then the second time came back with that same T-shirt that he wanted us all to sign for him.
Yeah,
that guy was awesome.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm
looking forward to the big breakfast buffet at the hotel we're staying at. If it's anything like last year, there's that at least, you know. But true. Yeah, of course, seeing you guys, hanging out with you guys, cracking open some beers, and hey, for anybody that's listening, that's going, if you see us, we're gonna be sitting, we're gonna be around, we're gonna be all over the place. On Saturday night, though, we usually, because we don't do Cubs bingo just because the line is freaking stupid long.
I think the year before I had like claustrophobia sitting against the rail waiting for bingo. So that's part of the reason
we'll be down at the
we'll be at the
bar there in the lobby down there.
Football.
Come down, shoot the shit with us, drink a beer with us, and just vent,
or not a beer. You're not a beer drinker.
Vent your frustrations. Tell us what you're excited about or not excited or just whatever, because it's fun, man. That's the funnest part. That was the funnest these last 2 years. That is the funnest part. I feel like even the whole thing is just all of us there together, just talking baseball. It's fun.
It is so fun.
Nick, and what last year? Who was the guy last year? Played with Rhino. That sat and talked to us forever.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. Who did Joey think it was? Didn't he think it was someone else?
Yes, he thought it was the center fielder. Or no,
the Denier is the center fielder.
Who did he think it was? Because he goes, "Hey,
I forget who he thought it was. It's gonna bug the shit out of me."
And then he sat there. He was talking to Bob's wife forever, and I was just like, "This gonna go over and just beat the crap out of Joey because he's talking." They just start hitting it up and talking.
Joey is like the most friendly person ever. He'll go talk to anybody.
And they were both so nice.
Honestly, Joey is a huge reason that we meet a lot of people at CubsCon, because he just randomly starts conversations with us, which is awesome. Like Joey, shout out to that talent. He's like, that's like part of the fun of CubsCon, like you said. But
we could see Joey. Sorry, we could see Joey just. We're sitting there on night one, and we're all getting ready. It's getting ready to start, and we're just like, "Where's Joey?" And we see him on the screen at the red carpet, just walking. He has has found his way, stumbled his way into the red carpet. And he's just talking in the middle of all the players. Like, would not shock me at all. That's Joey.
That is Joey. Joey can talk his way into anything. Yes. It's incredible. It's incredible. Nick, did you have any final thoughts? I didn't cut you off, did I?
No.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure. Gentlemen, I think the thing I'm looking most forward to, because those are both good ones, but I think it's a two-pronger, because I'm going to reinforce something that Tyler said. Right. I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm such a foodie that the Hyatt Regency breakfast is one of the things I
Especially
That's
after-
where we're at. Like that sets the tempo for Saturday. 'Cause
Saturday night when you've had your 6 or
Saturday's
7 old
busy.
fashions run,
Yeah, I don't think
and
there's
then
any
that
old
freaking
fashions in
Sunday,
Western this
that
year.
just it's great.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. That's the joking, but serious note. I am most looking forward to the talk shows. Ryan Dempster's talk show on Friday night because we got a lot of good nuggets out of that, kind of to kick things off. And then on Saturday, the compound has effectively become like the cool talk show at CubsCon because they're a podcast. They do obviously the live show and they get the new guys on and they have different rounds of guests. Like it really is a talk show. I'm looking forward to those because I think you get some of the coolest aspects of getting to know the players. Like at the core of it, that's what I enjoy about CubsCon is
Do you
getting
think
to know
Sammy
these
will do
guys.
any of those?
I think he's got to do one, right? He's got to do something. I wouldn't be shocked if they get because don't they do one with the Hall of Famers for that Cubs class?
I know. Why do I feel like
It's at like
last year?
4:15 on like Saturday afternoon. Like it's one of the last things.
I feel like Mark Grace, whatever year he was, I feel like he did something, right?
He did the compound. He was on the compound with Cody Bellinger. I think it was those two.
I think
so.
yeah.
Like you get really cool stories and like you got the cool interaction between like Belly talking about having a 40 home run season and Mark Grace like laughing about it because he was like I could never dream of a 40 home run season. Like you get those cool little nuggets that I think that's what makes CubsCon so unique compared to so many other fan fests that are out there because they do a good job. Like if there's any freaking team that at least created something that to care about the fans and allow the team to connect with the fans, it's CubsCon. Like that's what it is at the end of the day. So, gentlemen, as always, before we sign off, I'm wanting to remind everybody Cubs on Tap is one of 2 Cubs shows here at the On Tap Sports Network. Go check out our friends over the Dingers podcast. Of course, we're going to be looking forward to doing some crossover content with them of some sort this season and likely before that as well. We got a lot of really cool shows coming. I'm going to use this as like a shameless plug moment for the show. Tons of guests. We had the Locked On Cubs guys on. That was a really, really cool show with them.
That
It was
a
very
show. Good job, by the way. I really enjoyed that one.
It was fun, man. That was a cool show. It was good to talk to them. Matt and I had been going back and forth. They would like to talk and hang out with us at CubsCon. So that's again part of the reason we love to go is like it's getting.
Hey, by the way, aren't they doing something before CubsCon starts?
Yeah, they're doing like a meetup, I think.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be really cool. Again, that's a huge part of it. But like we had those guys on. We're obviously gonna connect with Mr. Steele and try to get him on for a show. You know, like I told you guys, I heard today from Setup Man. He's going to come on as a guest and do a show with us as well. It's part of what makes, I think, my favorite part of Cubs on Tap is the off season to a fault. I like riding the roller coaster with you guys during the season, but that's when we just get to be buddies and like watch the team together. The off season is where we get to connect with the rest of the fan base and make friends that like we see at Wrigley when we go to games. Like it's a really unique part of the Cubs fan base. So I'm looking forward to the next couple months. I know everybody's like, well, it's just spring training, but like we do a lot of cool interviews. Last year we had Jack McMullen, we had Cole Wright on, we had a lot of cool guests. So this is that kind of moment where we get to start kind of firing that up. So be on the lookout for that. Be sure to follow us at Cubbies on Tap for all that information. You can follow the panel as always, Teddy Freddy 270, Nick _ on tap. Myself, I am at Loose on Tap. Go follow Juice on Tap and Joey Knows Nothing, but I think Joey knows something because he talks his way into everything. Be sure to follow the whole crew. Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks, the whole drill. We got it covered for you at ontapsports.com, at ontapsports on the socials. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button on the YouTube, and you'll know when all of our shows go live. And you can be like Scott, who's heard me like every 4 hours for the last like 3 weeks, because that's just how some things roll around here, and it is what it is. But it was a pleasure getting back on the microphone with the two of you. Gentlemen, what do you say we got out here? The only way to know how it Cubs on Tap?
Hey, things are frustrating right now, but at least we're not the Cardinals, because F the Cardinals, right?
Yep. Fuck the Cardinals.
And let's go Cubbies.